everybody. Thanks for joining us, The Insiders with Liz Throp and Amber Price here at the Giant TV studio. I'm loving this whole new theme,
this
right?
new vibe in this
is.
room.
Yeah.
Now,
today, I'm super excited because we're going to be talking about the clairs.
The clairs
How
are
do
awesome.
you connect? Like, as a psychic, you, Liz, like, how do you connect? I know that... do you use clairvoyance a lot? Like clairvoyance is the way that we see images?
yes, I use clairvoyant, clairsentient, and claircognizant are the top three that I use. I touch on the other ones from time to time, but those are probably the main three that I...
Yeah. So like clairvoyance, for those of you who would like the actual idea of what each of them is. So clairvoyance is the ability to see images or flashes of color or visions or apparitions. And so primarily we're using our third eye, which is located right here, to be able to get those kind of visual messages, right?
Yes.
Now, just let's talk about each of them separately. So clairvoyance, how do you actually see? Like, I get asked all the time, I'm like, how do you see
How do you
people?
see it?
How do you see?
How does it work for you? So I always explain it to people like this. If they were to imagine a red apple in their mind right now, so everybody that's viewing this, think of a red apple in your mind. Now I want you to point to your face where you're seeing that red apple. And it's going to be in this general area right here. And that is where I see images. And so I'm working with my psychic team. I have been able to work out different images meaning different things so that while I'm communicating with somebody, not only will I see images or things to give me direction on how to say what's coming next, but I will also have an inner knowing. But we're going to get to that one. That's
It's
clear.
They're all, and as you're going to find, they're all kind of interwound.
Yes.
And so when we're talking about them, we're using all of them.
Yeah.
But typically you'll find that some are more strong than others.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now
So-
it's not only symbols. Sometimes I will be like taken on like a movie almost like, so I will see an event happening. So especially when I'm going into someone's past, and it will be like seconds, but it may be the knowledge of something that happened for like an hour, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right. So, but I immediately download that whole situation of somebody's past, and I get the whole inner understanding and awareness around the whole thing and how it affected not only them, but everybody around them.
Right. Yep.
So but it happens in seconds.
It is.
It's weird.
It's almost like when people say my life flashed before my eyes, and you're like, how did 85 years, like it is like, just like that. It's how much, or a picture says 1,000 words, because that's exactly ultimately how fast our information is coming to us. It's like we're receiving an image, which also makes it a thought, a memory, a feeling, the whole picture, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I know for me, for clairvoyance, I chose not to want to use clairvoyance as much.
Really?
So what had happened was when I first started to connect, that's what I was doing, was I was seeing things or people or items and stuff. But because of where I worked in the healthcare industry, it was becoming startling to me. And I felt like it in no way scared me. But what was happening was I was worried about me turning around a corner and seeing someone standing there, and then the amount of people I could be seeing at any given time.
Yes.
So I asked my spiritual team, my angels and guides, to change it. So I was primarily being able to use a different way of communicating. However, when I am doing a reading, I will get flashes a lot. Like I will depend on that, but in no way do I see, like if I see a flash of a dog, I know a dog is there, but I don't know what kind of dog it is. That would be a different way of communicating.
Right.
And it's more see-through. It's like if I'm looking at you, I can see you see-through as a spirit, not like I'm seeing you in three-dimensional. There is a huge difference. I know when I'm seeing somebody that's an energy and somebody who's a physical being. Yeah.
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 Okay.
So I know, like, I connect through claircognizance. So the ability to know information.
Right. Now explain that for people, because I do too. And it's, I want to hear how you explain it, and then I'll give you my...
I always just think of it as a memory or a thought or a reminder of something, and then that is kind of where I'm going with it, right? So basically, if we have a memory that pops in our head for no reason. So for instance, as an example, weird things today are happening.
Right.
But well, every day. That's my everyday. Everyday life.
Say, every day.
Yeah. So, so my husband and I had an experience when we were out at the cottage, and he was looking at a hawk that was in the sky. And I saw a family, and I mean a family of deer come out from
Beautiful.
the escarpment. And I was like, honey, like try not to panic him, because now we are like our car is like engulfed in this family of deer. And so, but in my mind, when we were driving home from dinner one night, I was like, do you remember when we were at the cottage and that family of deer came out? And then just as I said that memory, a deer ran right in front of our car.
Yes.
And he goes, you're crazy.
Yeah.
Like, how did you do that? And I'm like, I don't know, because at that moment, instead of spiritual messages frightening me, going, oh my God, be careful, don't panic there. It was almost like, remember that? So it was like, all of a sudden, yeah, we should be paying attention for deer. And then one ran out. So just like that, like a memory of something or a thought. I use movies and music a lot to be reminded of the concept or the message then.
Yes.
What about you?
So it's like
how
your
do you,
inner knowing. That's pretty much.
it is like you just know it, which is harder to trust. Because that would be your ego saying, did I just know that? Or am I recalling, did you tell me that before?
Exactly.
So it is the one that is the hardest to trust.
I think all of them were hard for me to trust in the beginning.
Were
to
they?
be honest with you,
Okay,
they were all very difficult for me to trust. But if I look back, I had difficulty trusting anybody.
Yes.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So once I learned that it was about me trusting myself when my judgment, then it just kind of calmed everything down.
Then it was better, right?
But yeah, for my inner knowing, that definitely does take a lot of trust.
Yeah.
And just going, okay, I'm at your mercy to share with me what you're going to give me, and I'm just going to allow it to come out the way that it needs to come out. One of the things that I will have, like similar to you, in that you'll have a thought about something or a feeling or a memory of something, and then all of a sudden it appears, but in a different way. That happens a lot to me. And the other thing that will happen is, this is, a lot of people will have this at home, is I'll have a thought about someone, or they'll come into my mindset,
Right?
and I'll get a phone call, an email, a text, something like that. That is so common. It's like clockwork.
I just thought of you.
Yes.
Or I just, the phone is ringing and I see your face in my head.
Just about to call your number, and
That's
here
right.
you are calling me. I haven't spoken to you in a month.
Yep.
It's so funny. So that's like one that everyone can relate to.
Yeah.
That's you using your Clairsentience, right?
Yeah,
Sentience.
and that even happened when I was trying to connect with you, right? Like this happens to us all the time, like random things.
Oh yeah, just this morning.
I was trying to phone you, and I thought,
So
I
funny.
didn't reach her. That's okay. I know she's going to call me right back, but I should call my dentist to make an appointment. And then you said, I'm sorry I couldn't answer your call. My dentist had called me, and it was like,
simultaneously.
that's really weird, because I just thought I should call my dentist. So then I thought, do I actually have to call my dentist, or was I just actually picking up that you couldn't answer my call?
Exactly. So
yeah.
that's the kind of thing. I think you should call your dentist, because
I definitely should call
teeth
my
are
dentist.
so important,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like we only get one set our whole
physical
life.
health. Don't take shortcuts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So like that's kind of how people will connect with what we're trying to explain.
Yes.
It'll be the just knowing that it's this way, or that it's this, or that this is, like you have that connection. That is you tapping into one of your psychic superpowers.
And that's how you know. And so the knowing, which is perfect, because it's the claircognizance. And so, what I find interesting too, and it's very rare that I would connect this way, but it happens, enough, is the ability to taste.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very rare for me that it happens. And one was, ironically, I remember when I was a child, like I'm going to digress a little bit here, but there's a reason for it. I watched a movie, and it was about, it was a king poisoning his queen or something like that. And they used almond, it was cyanide, but it tastes like almonds. And I'll never forgot that. I was like, but I loved the flavor of almonds,
right?
And I love almonds, like the actual nut.
Yeah.
And so I remember thinking, like, it can be like you're eating almonds and you would have no idea that it's poison.
Yeah.
So this memory
Which is terrifying
stuck in me as a child, right? And I was like, so I will always make my own almond cookies.
Yeah.
But like, yes, it's funny how things make you super aware. So I was, working for a client, and there was poisoning happening, and I got this extreme taste of almond, and the first thing I remembered was like, oh, that movie. And then I got so the roundabout way in which they showed me that she was being poisoned, or I think it was food poisoning she was dealing with, but they showed it to me in that way.
Right.
And I'm like, I think you're being poisoned. I feel like you're being poisoned. She was consuming something repeatedly that wasn't working for her body.
Yeah.
So,
oh my goodness. Yeah, so it's wild. And that goes back to, if I was getting a reading from you, Liz, I would say, no, I don't have a connection to almonds, but it's not about me. It's about your ability to understand that's your reference point to that message. So again, like knowing yourself and the reader and what it means to you.
Right.
But I would get that, like if I might taste blood, or I might have peppermint, or sometimes spirit will just be like, oh, you made my favorite recipe and now I can taste like pot roast or something, and that's the way, right? So I think it's really cool, but that is also, I just find it so fascinating, because it's like, you absolutely can taste this. Like it is happening. Your brain knows you can taste this. And so, you're not actually eating it or tasting.
Exactly.
So
The other one is the smell. We weren't going to talk on that one, but it's just reminding me of like, I remember, and this is like, so we'll have like moments where we're smelling perfume or
that
smoke.
happens. Yeah.
Smoke is a big one for me. They give me that when there's a fire connection.
Right. Oh, I get that too. Okay. The smoke with the fire or
and I can tell the different types of smoke. So I can tell cigarette or cigar pipe smoke from a burning log or fire in a house, kind of different.
Yes.
Strange, right?
Yeah.
You're like, is something on fire right now? Like, or you'll walk into a house, when you're doing a clearing, and you're like, overwhelmed with the smell of smoke. Right.
Yes,
that happens
it happens too. For sure. And I think too is a matter of, do you find this? Like if you're speaking to a client and they're a very visual, creative person, you will get a lot more visual, creative messages because or like if their father was an engineer and they were very like black and white and very like you're gonna get more of that type of message, because their personality will come through in the way that we communicate. Just like when we talk about being in school, you have people that need hands-on experience, people that want to read, and then people who need to hear you have a lecture or hear it being so there's different types of ways of learning. So of course there's going to be different types of ways of communicating, and that will shine through. Reflecting either who you're speaking to or who you're getting the messages from.
It's so funny because that was one of the strangest things to me. I found when I first became public with my gifts. Yeah. Where I would deliver it one way here. Yeah. And then somebody would come in and I would deliver it completely, or just getting words or language that I'd never used before. Yeah. And it would kind of freak me out a little bit. I'm like,
because it's like, I would never say that term, or I would never, you know. Yeah, for sure. That's their way of coming through so that
some people you have to be super direct with.
Yes.
And you're like, whoa, this is out of my comfort zone.
Yeah, that's not me and how I would speak.
But I think now, because I just trust and go with it, like I think people would say that I'm quite a direct person when I do speak. Yes, yeah. I've just gotten really comfortable just giving it. Yeah. Just give it. I don't question it anymore.
There's no time and energy to feel like just give the message. Yeah. That's all you're supposed to do. Don't filter. Yeah. But, Clairsentience, which is the feeling, the way of feeling.
Yes.
I feel that quite a bit. So when somebody's in front of me, I'll be like, oh my gosh, my knee is hurting. So, this is your knee, or I might see it as being your mom's knee or whatever, or oh my goodness, like I feel like my heart, or like you can feel, but not only a physical ailment or injury, but emotional, spiritual. Yes. It's just literally being able to, so have you ever had like that heat come over you, or the chills? This is clairsentience. And so knowing that when you get those feelings, whichever way, you're actually getting a psychic message.
So here's the funny thing with me. I relate my clairsentient, my feeling to my medium skills.
Okay.
Isn't that funny? Yeah. So when I'm connecting with a spirit, they always show up with feelings first for me.
Oh, okay.
That's
yeah.
like, so I will feel typically, not always, but probably 95% of the time,
Right.
how they passed as how they show up with me in a feeling. So I will feel the, so if it's heart, I will
Right.
feel the ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba,
Yes.
ba-ba-ba-ba-ba in my heart. If it's like cancer, it's like, and where the root of it was. So if it's lung cancer, for example, I'll get burning in my lungs and then I'll feel it spread.
Right.
And as long as I acknowledge right away, this is who's coming forward and I'm getting this, does that connect to somebody? And then I'll get like a female or a male. I don't get names as often as you, but I do get sometimes letters, but not all the time.
Right.
But they will give me descriptions of themselves, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It is just the way it works with me. So how do you?
So same thing. So when I'm connecting to people that have passed away, I will automatically usually see them coming through as a male or a female, and sometimes not, because spirit is genderless, to be honest. Like, it's not until you come into the physical world.
Yeah.
This is my understanding of it based on my experience with spirit. But so to me, it's just all about, your personality more so. You might identify more with the feminine side versus the masculine side.
Right.
And so spiritually, sometimes they don't tell me if it's a man or woman, but they will give me that feeling of, okay, I feel like it was in the chest, or I had a heart attack, or I have septicemia or whatever. And then they will make me feel like, okay, it's a father figure, or I am your father, or whatever. So so it is a feeling of the relationship. It's a feeling of the physical issue. And then also I feel the energy of the grief or the relationship. Yes. So if it is, say, a father that is coming through, but they've been estranged for 15 years, I will feel like they literally live on a different planet, because I will feel a disconnection geographically or physically. Yeah. So just knowing how it is and working through it. And I do a lot of, I'm sure you do as well, right? Like teaching in your sessions to say, this is the way I'm feeling. It has meant this, or this in the past to me. So which is the one that they're giving it to me for you, right?
Exactly.
And it is just to know what it is that you're supposed to be saying to deliver the message.
100%.
Yeah.
Because I think people think when we're seeing or feeling or hearing or smelling or whatever, tasting, that we are completely tuned into their past.
Right.
Or that person, that loved one that they're hoping to connect with. And we're seeing the whole picture, and it's not like that for me. Anyway, I'm getting snapshots, moments of feelings, moments of, the taste thing's kind of rare for me. It doesn't happen all the time, but when it does, I know there's specific tastes that I connected to. It's like, I don't know this person, but this is what they're giving me to connect with you. And I'm supposed to tell you this.
Right.
There's like an inner knowing. So I'm tapping into the clairsentient, where the inner knowing, I know you need to know this.
Right. Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
It's for closure reasons and stuff like that.
Yeah. And it all wraps around. Like, you have they're referred to as the clairs. But I'm going to post, Liz and I will post on our social media, our insiders page, the types of clairs and what it means, so that everybody can understand, because they are hard to keep straight if you're not using them all the time. Yeah. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you're calling them, as long as you understand they do exist and you can get spiritual messages from them, right?
Exactly.
So we'll post that so that you guys can have that little education piece on it.
There's still the one audient that we haven't talked about.
The listening, the hearing. Yeah. Clairaudience. And so I often hear my name called.
Okay.
Oh, just creepy though. What happened was, I say creepy because I was sleeping, and I don't like when people interrupt me when I'm sleeping.
I'm with you on that one. Yeah.
You're going to learn that I'm not a morning person, right, Liz? I am not a morning person. And I also need my sleep. Like, I need my sleep. And when I get sick, I get super sick. Like, it's just
0 to 60. Yeah.
Exactly. So just like last week, I was having this issue where I was sleeping and I could hear my husband's, like, I had to sleep on the couch because I was sick. And he was in the bedroom, but I could hear his voice, and it was like I could hear his breath on my ear, and he went, Amber. And I like, what the heck?
Yeah,
like, why?
he's waking me up.
Right? Like, first of all, don't wake me up because it scares me. Like, he's learned several times, don't wake Amber up because it will be like wild banshee because I don't know what's going on. Like, I'm like, oh my God, am I in spirit? What's happening? Right? So yeah, don't. Like,
I'm sorry for laughing, but that is funny. I'm
I
sorry.
know. Well, after I think about it, I'm like, okay, that wasn't so bad. But at the moment, it was like.
It was a little dramatic. How I
Yeah,
woke
it
up
was
there.
dramatic. Yeah, so for sure. But this happened 3 nights in a row where I would hear him. And now, of course, he was violently ill as well. And so I was nervous that like something happened to him. So I'm thinking, oh my God, like do something in there, like cough or move or do something because I'm like, why am I hearing your voice? And so at the end of it, I was like, of course, like he's just like, I'm just making sure I'm being mindful to listen for him or to check on him. But so do you hear... Because it doesn't matter if it's my name or if it's even just words in general or sounds and sirens. And so what do you get?
So I don't get that audible all the time. That's a very rare one, like the taste is. But when I do hear it, it's very profound.
Right.
It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I'll get like, I often get Liz, wake up. I'll get that a lot. Like it's time to wake up, wake up.
Yeah.
And instantly like, okay, who's in the room with me? But the messages are kind of like how I would perceive them as not that inspirational.
Yeah.
Like why did I need to get up?
Why did I have to do that? Yeah.
Like maybe it's like a raccoon's out back and I wanted to watch, like they want me to show me. It's weird. It's weird stuff like that. I have an inner hearing.
Right.
So I use my inner ear more. And the thing with me, I remember thinking that for the longest time that I was making it up. Like this is wishful thinking. You want to be so good at what you do that you're making up words in your mind. Stop listening to that. You're making that up. And then I discovered the Clairs and it's like, no. That's actually part of the whole package.
That's a thing. Yeah.
That's a thing. So I think, and then when I was talking to people, especially children, we think we're making it up and we're not.
Right.
It's actually, it's insight.
Yes.
But it's more often than not in my own voice.
Right.
So,
yes. And that's what people think. It's like, well, it's my own voice, so I'm hearing.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm hearing it in. The example I gave was in my husband's voice, and I do hear other things, but mostly 90% of the time, it's my own voice that I'm hearing saying the words, right?
Yeah.
And so it's harder to trust that you're actually hearing something because of the fact that they're always going through like, how are you hearing this or what do you need to hear? And like, and even too, like I'm getting a psychic message right now, but even too, like the fact is that if you're not trusting, like you said about the raccoon, like, oh, maybe I'm not supposed to be here. Or maybe like, why am I waking up for this? I always feel like there is the reason that we don't know. Like, had you not woken up and turned on your lights to check, you might not have known somebody across the street was watching your home. And if you didn't turn on your light or you didn't make movement,
snooched around.
You never
100% believe that.
And so I always think like, okay, all right, that was frustrating because again, I love my sleep and I was awakened, but
I'm like that girl in the movie, the horror movie that gets out of bed and goes looking. Like I am that girl. I'm like, why do I do that? Why do I do that? Do I want to run into a human? Because I'll tell you, I'll take spirit any day of the week over a human in my house.
Of course.
Give me opening doors and knocking on walls. I'll take that all day long over a human.
We
right?
have so many people living in our house and coming and going all the time that I'm just like taking for granted that it's just another like human, right?
Yeah.
But I think too is that if you are not listening to those things, that's the day that you're going to kick yourself and be like, I should have I should have done that.
So I'm that girl who gets up and searches the house. Like I don't wait for my husband to do it. I'm like, okay, I need to just know who is this.
Right.
And it's like, I can't, I just have to be up now. I'm up anyway. The minute my eyes open, I'm a wide awaker.
Yes.
Like there's no going back to sleep for me.
Yeah.
Sometimes I could be so exhausted that maybe in an hour I could just like doze back off. But once I'm awake, that's me. Whoa,
yeah, that's it. Ready to go. That's the same with me. That's why I like to stay sleeping. Don't bug me.
Yeah.
But so we're going to post those so that you guys have an idea.
Excellent.
And then we will also like slowly give you information on how you do this connecting. Like how do you know how to do it? And we're going to talk about it. But what is your fun fact? It's fun fact time.
Fun fact time. So, okay, so I lived in another country. I left here when I was 18 years old and moved to the UK because I have dual citizenship. So I have British and Canadian citizenship because my parents were born there. So I just took it upon myself to do the University of Life opposed to the University of, Education. I never did well in school when I was younger. I felt very restricted and there was way too many rules and I didn't like that.
Yeah,
I'm a tactile learner too. Yes. So when you're in a school format, it's like they're talking to you.
Right.
And that bothered me.
Yes.
So
very one-sided.
Yeah. So I ended up choosing the University of Life and traveling for, I think it was 6.5, almost 7 years, and lived in the UK. So I lived in England and in Scotland.
Nice.
Yeah. And I have the ultimate Scottish souvenir.
What?
As a result, my daughter.
Your daughter. What a gift. What an awesome gift.
The best souvenir ever.
Oh my gosh.
So she was born in Edinburgh, Scotland.
Wow.
Yeah.
I have family from there.
Oh,
from my dad's side.
Of course you do.
Scottish.
The connection, right?
Yeah. That's so cool.
So what's your fun
it.
fact, my friend?
So I was recently telling you that I had done work in St. John Ambulance.
Yes.
And so because of that being the high order that it is, under the Queen and stuff, I received the priority vote of thanks for some of my service.
Wow.
And the priority vote of thanks is the first award that you're given in the steps towards being damed.
Wow.
So, like knighted and damed.
Here we go, that royalty
The
side
royalty
of you.
connection again. Well, it's funny because
so cool.
Yeah, and it all just kind of ties in. But the priority vote of thanks I was given because of my service.
Yeah.
And so
That's
it was
epic,
really
Amber.
cool.
That's really epic.
That was my fun fact.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I bet you in your previous lifetimes, like I've never been one to read previous lifetimes. I'm amazed at people that can. But I bet in your previous lifetimes, there's a lot of royalty lineage there, or even in your, DNA.
I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be surprised. But, it's funny because we were talking about, looking at the background. And in this lifetime, my dad's side, which is the Scottish side, like his father was from England and his mother's from Scotland. But there is a knight in his, I think in the 1600s, I think is what it said. The 1600s,
cool.
yeah. So there is something to be connected there
That's
too.
very cool.
But
I have to say it's another fun fact, but I'll share it with you because it's a part of the conversation. When I had my DNA tested, I am connected to Marie Antoinette.
No.
Yeah, she's part of the same genome as me.
That is so cool. That's awesome.
Right? And are you ready for this one?
I don't know.
You've met this guy.
Who?
Prince Philip.
Oh.
Part of the same genome as me.
I did.
Group or whatever genome, but whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Same. So that because he's connected to her. So it's like all part of the same.
Oh my goodness. So
Right?
that's a freaking fun fact.
Right?
Yeah.
I know.
Oh
so
my
you
gosh.
may Queen Elizabeth me from now on.
Oh my gosh. It's funny because I just absolutely adore the royalty, but I
do
also
too.
and of course, Princess
I feel
Diana.
so bad for them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Princess Diana was one of those Claire moments where I was woken up. I had that inner Liz, wake up, and I turned on the TV and it just broke.
And that was the moment. Yeah.
That was awful.
Oh my goodness.
yeah.
That was the thing. Well, I am super excited. Thanks for sharing your fun fact with us.
Yeah, yours is quite epic, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yours is quite no.
It's something.
Just almost Dame.
It's just
whatever.
There's still a far way to go for that. But thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. We are going to see you next time on The Insiders with Liz and Amber through Giant TV Studios. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy your week.
Guys.